going back to the very beginning, what were like the first steps that you actually took to starting Zumper as a marketplace, and maybe even overcoming some of the initial challenges that we all face with the marketplaces, such as the kind of cold start problem?
Yeah, I think it was like kind of day zero, which was like create an MVP, like a minimal viable product of the problem we wanted to solve, and just make sure we weren't about to spend several years of our life on something delusional. So Zumper's mission is to make renting a home as easy as booking a hotel. So we didn't want to just build a search engine for rentals. We wanted to build a transaction end-to-end marketplace. So in my second year at grad school, I spent like $10,000 working with a Serbian development shop to build an MVP of like basically trying to prove in like 2012 would renters apply to apartments from their phone in an open house. Like really basic thing that 10 years on is, I guess, more obvious, but still not prevalent. And with kind of 10 grand and kind of 3 months of trialing it, we kind of showed, yeah, sure, renters, when they find an apartment they love or a house they love, they'll do anything to apply for it. And they were comfortable sharing their credit reports and et cetera, things online. So stage zero was like, prove the MVP out. And not only was that enough to be like, okay, cool, like I'm going to spend a decent part of my life building this company, but also kind of for the path I took, which was the venture path, it was the data I needed to raise the first $1 million of a seed round, which I raised during grad school, raised it from Kleiner Perkins, Andreessen, Greylock. So I had like a lot of investors put in a small check, but kind of put in $1 million total. And that was enough to get going. And then I think there was like proper stage one where we'd raised $1 million in seeds. We put a small but amazing team together. And back to your cold start question, I mean, you guys, I've listened to many of the talks. I mean, this is classic marketplace liquidity. You have zero renters, zero landlords. How do you solve the lack of any network effect? And I think this is true in most marketplaces and 1,000% true in real estate. You have to bet on supply first. So you have to solve the chicken and egg problem of why would a landlord come to Zumper or website ABC where we have no renters, no MAUs, no visits, no page views. And so basically the kind of first 2 years was spent building tools for landlords to manage their rentals. So whether it was like pricing guidance or tenant screening or a CRM that were intrinsically valuable, but that so happened to also put their listing on this small, tiny website called Zumper that no one was using at the time. We also syndicated it out to Zillow and some other websites that had a lot of users. So it was still valuable. And so basically it's the classic marketplace game of build tools, kind of come for the tools and then ultimately stay for the marketplace. And first 2 years of the company was solving chicken and egg by betting heavily on tools for the supply side before we even had our first million MAU month.